traded it all if I gave it.
So welcome back. My next guest has also been on with me many times before. I have David Fisher. He's the CEO of Landmark Capital. Welcome back to the show, David. You know, lots going on, I know, with this election and everything, and you've been on many, many times. You're an educator. You're more than anything, you're an educator. Tell everybody a little tiny bit about yourself, what you got going that's so exciting. I want to hear, everybody's got to hear about that too, and then we'll go from there.
Well, obviously, I've been on the radio quite a few times with you, Carol, on your program. And thank you once again for having me. I used to have my own radio program before, and I did the thing called The Market Close. So my background is not really precious metals per se, is more talking about the economics of what leads people to looking into buying precious metals. You know, like the Fed, the interest rates, you know, and we've talked a lot about that, banks that are in trouble and things like that. We are a national company, and we're moving aggressively that direction. The company's doubled every 3 months for the last 2 years now. And so you wanted me to tell you the most recent news, which is, I'm not going to give out the names yet because the ink's not quite dry on the contract, so to speak, but it's a done deal. We're on 2 national major talk show hosts network. One is 230 stations, get my numbers right. Don't want to inflate numbers, be accurate. 230 stations nationally syndicated, and the other station the other talk show host is out of New York, and he's on 300 stations, both nationally syndicated. The one out of New York, he also has a television program that I'm going to be on quarterly, which he reaches 44 million listeners, or viewers, should I say, by television. So the company's expanding. We're branding the company with a segment called Money Monday. I've been doing that on a national talk show host already, and so what happened is this idea of who's going to talk about financials at the beginning of the week when most people want to know on a Monday. I'm their guy now, and so this is just a huge feather in the cap to the company. It's come as a result of me talking about the economics, speaking nationally, and being on programs like yourself. So thank you once again for having me.
No, well, thank you. And what I love is what you do for everyone is you're just giving them information. You study this. This is what you do, and you're giving out this information. You do have a company that's obviously very successful, that you have created something for everyone to be able to protect themselves. I want to talk a little bit about that so they can have that, and the white paper really quickly so we can tell everybody the phone number to call in and do that. Sure. And we'll make sure that they call directly to you because your people are standing by, and there's reasons for that. So go ahead and tell about some of that.
Our company is founded upon principles of we're here to help people, educate, facilitate, and find the best value. A lot of companies don't operate this way. They buy product and they force product upon everybody. It's one call close and shoves a coin down somebody's throat. We're opposite of that. We build a relationship. Usually it takes 3 to 7, maybe 10 phone calls to understand this. And the inventory is not the focus. It's people. And out of people building this thing called a financial blueprint, which is in our literature, which is a interactive conversation that's a tailor-made program for people to learn what types of markets there is out there, what their benefits and their drawbacks are, and what they've done in 3 different market environments: inflation, currency devaluation, and the stock market correction, what metals have performed or lack of performance. And they learn all about that. I say in a 15-minute conversation, they'll know more than 99% of the people who have already invested in gold. So it's something that I help people get their eyes open, and they can make a good decision. We feel if you give the people the right facts, they're going to be able to make the right decision for themselves if this is for them or not, and what type of markets to be involved. So we're a nationally precious metal company. We have accredited members with the Better Business Bureau, an A rating, A+ rating. We have something in our industry called ICTA, Industry Council Tangible Asset, which is similar to the BBB, and we're a member with them with an excellent status. And so we're here to help people.
Right, but you also have done something on a very, very, very low cost, which is phenomenal of what you've done, and I think that's amazing. Tell us what we're supposed to do with it once when you tell tell us what we should know, then what should we do?
Yeah, well, people are concerned about what's happening with this whole new changes of the law called the Dodd-Frank Act, where now the government can seize your bank account, they can seize your retirement, your 401k, and your IRA. There's been a plan that we've used a lawyer who has devised a way of where you can roll over your 401k and your IRA and take physical possession, buy physical metals, not paper, physical metals
in your hand,
and take possession of that without a tax liability. And there's other lawyers have done this too, but the beauty of the one that we've used here, his cost for an out-of-state LLC, which is the entity that buys the metals, is $385 compared to my competitors out-of-state are $995 to $1995. I've done the research on it. So we're very effective in being cost-effective. We're very effective in the knowledge and the bullseye where people get their money safeguarded from the government. That's what this is all about.
And here in Arizona, how much is it?
$350.
$350. So it's very affordable. You can call them at 602-287-9200. They do free consultations. Their website is landmarkgold.com. You got a lot of stuff here. What is going on?
Well, I was just on your program a couple weeks ago, and things have already changed. We've had the Federal Reserve talk. The Vice President, Stanley Fischer, come out and talk just yesterday. You know, there's been this, our country's divided, and so is the Federal Reserve. Here we have two politicians talking about two diametrically opposed ideas on how to run the country and what to do. Raise taxes, not raise taxes, lower taxes. How to move forth in paying down the debt. Should we protect our borders, shouldn't we? I mean, our country's never been this divided before, and it's not really who I like for president, it's who I don't like for president.
And who do I not want?
Yeah, exactly. So it's such an upside-down system. The country and the world's never been in this debt structure. And the Federal Reserve is divided, too. Should we raise rates? Shouldn't we? So we're in a divided realm of the world today. Some say debt's great, and some say debt is the cancer of all evil. So what is it really? Well, back to the Fed. The Fed has been trying to raise rates, but they haven't been successful. And just think about this for a second. Raising it 1/4 of a point, Carol, how simple that is. Yet Stanley Fischer said it's not that simple. You think raising the interest rate by the Fed 1/4 of a point would be a simple thing. He says it's not that simple because it would have very detrimental effect on the market, which should tell us how unstable the market is. And I was on your program 2 weeks ago talking about the bubble that the Fed is creating. I'm not the only one saying this. UBS has said this. Barclays just recently said this. Deutsche Bank has said this. Of course, they're in trouble already.
I was just saying, you mentioned
and we'll talk about them in a second. So all these entities are coming out. Jeffrey Gundlach was just on CNBC earlier this week on Monday talking about the bubble that's being created in the bond market. So is Carl Icahn, who's a billionaire investor on Wall Street. He's saying this thing is going to pop if they don't do something different than what we've been in, this low interest rate environment. So to put the quote to it, here's what Stanley Fischer says: low interest rates makes the economy more and vulnerable to adverse shocks that can put us into a recession. The limitation on monetary policy imposes low trend interest rates could therefore lead to a longer and deeper recessions when the economy is hit by negative shocks. We're going to have a negative shock.
I'm already having a negative shock.
Well, okay. But, sometimes the Fed comes out and says everything's all great. And there's some of the board members that are saying everything's fine, which it's not. Both you and I and everybody listening knows the economy's not fixed. The metrics that they use to say the economy is growing is not a true valid metrics. We haven't had unemployment come back. We've had bad job growth, the worst in the history of a job recovery under this presidency. I'm not saying it's his fault, but I believe he contributes to that, definitely. But the quality of the job recovery has been under par. I mean, people are now working 2 or 3 jobs, not one good quality job with full benefits. So what's happening is we're going to have some more shocks. What were some of the shocks? Brexit was a shock. Deutsche Bank will be a shock. Maybe another bank in Germany, Commerzbank, which is in trouble with Brexit, or with Deutsche Bank. They just announced this. So we're not going to be avoid all these things that are going to shock our system. And the longer the Fed holds interest rates by their own admittance to the level of where we're at, the deeper recession we will have. There's some economists are coming out in 2017 saying we're going to have a major stock market correction happening in 2017. And Jeff Lee Gundlach was one of those people. And he's a billionaire investor who has one of the largest hedge funds. So get ready for some sort of correction. It's going to happen at some point. Will it be right after the election or at the beginning of the year or at the end of 2017? Nobody knows that time frame, but it is coming if they don't intervene in this.
Check them out. It's landmarkgold.com and call them direct at 602-287-9200. Only
if I gave it all away for one thing.
So welcome back. We were talking with David Fisher. He's the CEO of Landmark Capital. We've been talking a lot at the break, but one of the things that I do want to get out is your white paper that you wrote. All of this information is it's facts. It's all facts. You have all the backup on it, and so this is stuff that you want everybody to get their hands on. You have the white paper that you wrote. It's the coming bail-in and how to avoid it from affecting you. You want people to call you direct so that they can talk to you. They do free consultations. Their number is 602-287-9200. Check them out. It's landmarkgold.com. So we were also talking at the break about the election, and I was telling you how, okay, we're going to have to deal with it, whatever it is, we're going to have to deal with it. But then what? And what did you say?
Well, it's, everybody thinks if we, after the election, everything will have a course of action and everything will we'll move towards fixing the problem. If that's the case, then why are we $20 trillion in debt when we started at $10 trillion when Obama went in office? The debt of the globe is $152 trillion, according to the IMF 2 weeks ago that they put out. It's the highest level that's unsustained.
It's going higher every day, it seems like.
Well, it is, because countries are spending their way out of this financial debt. You can't get out of debt by spending. It doesn't work. You have to bring jobs. A government cannot overspend its way out of a debt to fix the government's debt. It doesn't work. It's been proven it doesn't work. Yet there are people saying this is the way to do it, and that's what the Fed is doing through a low interest rate environment. So is the European Monetary Unit. So is the Bank of the country of Japan. So are 4 other countries out there. Let's go lower a negative interest rate environment. But Stanley Fischer is right. This negative interest rate or low interest rate environment will come back to bite us bigger than ever. It will not work. And this is why we're going to have a day of reckoning. So the day of election, whoever gets in office come January during inauguration, they got a huge mountain to climb, because we have a divided country called Congress. They have not worked together the last 8 years, and I don't think they're going to work together the next 4, whoever gets in office. Trump wants to force people to work together. I don't think that's going to work. Hillary has proven she can't work together with people. So we have a lesser of two evils. It's not about who I want to be elected, it's who I don't want to be elected during this election campaign. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my lifetime. So the world is in a peculiar place like never before, during this environment like never before, and central banks can't figure this out. So we're going to have some major problems, and this is what the big money are saying, and this is why gold is up 22% this year. It's the number one asset class. This is why you're seeing Deutsche Bank saying gold is going to be $1,500 next year. Barclays Bank is saying $1,400. The reports are now coming out. Mark Faber, who just commented yesterday on what would happen if Trump got in office, he says gold would go up. He's saying don't be surprised, though, gold wouldn't go up if Hillary got in office, because she brings a whole amount of uncertainty and not a good financial plan to fix the debt structure of the United States. So we're not going to get out of this way easy. They're either going to have to inflate, devalue, default, or do a bail-in. And I wrote about it in this white paper. This whole idea of fixing it, the Congressional Budget Office said in 2012, when the debt was $14.5 trillion, Carol, they said we would have to grow the economy at 10% or greater per year consecutively. The economy is growing at 1.2% now. It's not going to grow at 10%, whoever gets in office. We'd have to do that for 10 years to get this management of debt at $14.5 trillion under control. Now we're at 20. So we're going to have some financial problems. So this is why Mark Favor and many others, Jeffrey Gundlach and Stanley Druckenmiller, all these billionaires who don't own gold companies, who are stock people, are saying, get some gold at these levels because gold will be much higher next year.
And I'm glad you said that. You said get some gold, because it's not about putting all of your money in gold. That's not what he's talking about. You have to diversify your portfolio.
Absolutely.
And that's something that he's very clear about. But he wants you to have the information. And you can call and get it's a free consultation. Find out a little bit about what you can do to protect yourself. And he's got it all in paper. He can tell you about his financial blueprint as well. Call him direct at 602-287-9200, or check him out also at landmarkgold.com. Call, get a free consultation. Go ahead.
Our country is divided like never before, like I was saying. And our country was divided during Civil War times. Many people feel it was because of many things, but one thing common that is then as it is to today. And they took the motto, "In God We Trust," off our coinage. And they did that during Civil War times in our silver coinage. A coin that they put back in God We Trust is called the Morgan dollar. They minted that from 1878 to 1921. And our country, they designed this coin. I'm holding it in my hands.
It's beautiful.
Pretty coin.
It really is. I have mine.
They designed this coin on it shows a picture of a lady from the neckline up, wearing the crown that says Liberty, which represents the Statue of Liberty. And in that crown, there's two predominant crops, one from the north, one from the south. Wheat from the north, cotton from the south, to bring our country back together, agriculturally and financially. On the back of the coin, they put back on the motto, "In God We Trust." And the place that they designed this purposefully was over the eagle. The eagle represents freedom, bringing God back to our country over the eagle. In God We Trust. Numismatic scholars and historians who wrote about coinage and why certain coins were designed certain ways write in history books saying, the reason that this was designed there, Carol, in such a way was to bring back God's ability to heal our country, the North and the South, and to bring His presence to our country, over our country. And so that's why they put specifically the design of this coin. I'm going to give this out for the next 21 callers that will call our company who have a 401k, an IRA, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or funds in their bank that they're concerned about. They've been hearing my voice today, or maybe previously they've never called in before, and they want to get the literature on learn how to protect their money because they're concerned at what might happen. It makes sense to them. So for the next 21 callers, I'm going to give out this shiny, brilliant, uncirculated silver Morgan dollar.
It's absolutely beautiful. Call direct at 602-287-9200, and it's landmarkgold.com. Again, 602-287-9200, and they'll do a free consultation and work with you on that and give you the coin.
This coin is not going to fix their financial challenges if they have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, 401ks, IRAs, or money in the bank. But it's going to be one step of many to say that they can get some of the facts by getting our literature. They can hold in their hands what the weight of this will do, because this has stood the test of time. If we went back and saw what the value of a dollar was in 1921 versus the value of this silver coin, the dollar's not kept pace with the value of this silver coin. So the purchasing power will remain constant and possibly grow during economic challenges in silver and gold, but during those times the dollar is assured to devalue. So we have almost a guarantee that we're going to have higher prices than gold and silver.
By you giving them this coin, it starts with them to be able to take possession, real possession in their hands.
Yeah.
This silver Morgan is a
Silver Morgan dollar. Yeah.
And everyone, the 21 callers, all you have to do is call at 602-287-9200. Call there. They'll do a consultation with you and go ahead and give you one of those.
Absolutely. So, the government's not going to fix our problems. We already know that. No politician's going to be able to fix our problems. The central bank called the Fed is not going to fix our problems. It's our problem to fix our problem. In fact, the national debt, they break it down on how much we owe. because it is our problem. The government says it's our problem.
They're telling us.
By the amendments of them passing this law, the Dodd-Frank Act, to be able to seize the money that we work so hard for, that they will use our money to pay down the debt that we owe as a country. So this is why only us can fix the problem. And the fix starts with diversification. Not putting all your money in one asset class. It would be just as wrong to put all your money in stocks as just as wrong to put all your money in gold or silver. But diversify. Put a portion to 7, a portion to 8, as Scripture talks about, because you do not know what tragedy may befall you. Nobody knows the future. I don't know it, you don't know it, and all the bright minds of the world don't know it. But one thing that we do know for sure, unless they back a currency by gold and silver, it will devalue over time. That is a given and a guarantee. So you hedge yourself against this, and we're going to have more economic uncertainties if we have some financial bubbles that will pop, and it looks like sometime beginning of next year we're going to see those rear its head.
Tell them again what you're giving them so they
So
can hear
Morgan
it.
dollar, brilliant uncirculated,
And what
minted
they-
from 1878 to 1921 for the next 21 callers, first-time callers who have funds that they're concerned about, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, 401ks, or IRA, and we can help them learn about how to protect that.
and have it takes the first step into having a coin in your possession. Call 602-287-9200. They're there standing by. So there 21 people are going to win. It's the Stanley Morgan. Go ahead. Morgan Silver Dollar at 602-287-9200. Check them out. It's landmarkgold.com. Call right now. They're standing by 602-287-9200.